Hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and I have some unfortunate news today that you're probably already aware of. The Canadian pop punk and alternative rock and metal band Sum 41 have announced their intention to disband or break up following their final album Heaven and Hell and one last worldwide tour. They said in a statement on social media, Sum 41 will be disbanding, we will still finish all our current upcoming tour dates this year, and we're looking forward to releasing our final album Heaven and Hell along with a final worldwide headlining tour to celebrate. The note at the bottom of their post says 27 years. Thank you for the past 27 years, making them an unofficial member of the 27 Club, groups that lasted for 27 years. And Sum 41 have sold extremely well. They've been very popular, not just in their home country, but in the United States, the UK. They have a dedicated following all over the globe, Europe as well. And I think it's definitely a testimony to the fact that they've been able to shake up their sound routinely. From album to album, you never knew exactly what sound they would present. And despite all of the odds, including their frontman Derek's extreme battles with addiction, nearly dying after drinking himself nearly to death, and then bouncing back with two more really strong albums in 13 Voices and Order and Decline, with the latter of those being, I think, their best album to date. I was introduced to Sum 41's music around 2005. There was this kid at my school, Troy, who would burn CDs for me. He was a couple of years older than me, so I was like, oh, this guy's definitely fucking cool, and he always shows me the best music. And Sum 41 really connected. He burned me the albums All Killer No Filler and Chuck, and I was all in on especially All Killer at that time. The band became a staple of my high school routine. I would listen to them quite regularly and introduce friends to them. I remember showing one of my friends who was a drummer their music, and it was right around the time of Underclass Hero coming out. We were extremely excited for the album, and Walking Disaster at the time was my favorite song of '07. Despite all of the changes, both musically and with the members coming in and out of the band, really it was just their bassist Cone and Derek on lead vocals that were the only permanent anchors. We had some amazing drummers. Obviously, the OG is probably always going to be the best, but Frank Zumo really stepped in and did the damn thing justice. And I always really loved Brown's sound on guitar as well. He's an incredible shredder, and his return to the band for their final few albums was definitely a lightning rod that brought so much life back into Sum 41. I've talked about this band at length in the past. If you're curious, I've ranked their albums, I did an underrated songs, even a top 10 Sum 41 tracks. I will leave some links in the description. And I've gone out of my way to defend albums that weren't very popular with critics, like Screaming Bloody Murder. I can't really overstate the fact that I was obsessed with the lead single, the title track. I played that song to death in 2011. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to your face and say that Sum 41 are still a band that I listen to every single week, every month of the year. I'm just always blasting their music. It's the soundtrack to my life, because that's not the case, but they're a band that I have consistently felt really good about going back to. They're not one of those things that typically I look back to and say, oh God, what was I thinking? There are moments in their discography. I have gone on record to say that I'm not really a fan of Underclass Hero as an album. I think they've had their blemishes, but they're more than made up for with the fact that albums like Does This Look Infected and Chuck and obviously All Killer, Order and Decline have so many incredible tracks that just have this inertia, and they blend a lot of really catchy choruses with some at times punishingly heavy musicality. To tie it all together here with a pretty little bow, what I want to say is thank you for your service, Sum 41. I think it is very honorable to go out on your own terms, to say we had a very strong run, but let's go ahead and hang this up now before it gets to be this nostalgia act and we're all washed up. I respect their move, I respect the decision, and while there's definitely a part of my childhood heart that is shattered into a million pieces just thinking about the fact that the band that made All Killer No Filler is not gonna be around anymore, I take solace in the fact that I got to see them live in 2016. My now wife and I decided on a whim to go to a Pierce the Veil Sum 41 concert. We literally walked up to the box office last minute, bought tickets, and it was a fucking incredible show. Sum 41 are always going to be a band that I can throw on and have a blast listening to. Not just with rose-tinted glasses, but with the knowing that they definitely get their messaging across. They're not the deepest band on the block, pun intended, but at the same time, I think they've been extremely consistent, and I think they have that underrated magical quality to them in the sense that they have this replayability that doesn't really lose its charge, it holds it very well. And I will leave you with one last thing, and that is me on my final day of high school, escaping Christian high school, blasting out of the parking lot to Sum 41.
Let's kick it.
Leave any memories that you have with the band in the comments section down below, and check out some of my Sum 41 content on screen now. Thank you for watching, hitting that like button, give it a share with another Sum 41 fan, and I will see you guys soon for more on Beyond ARTV.